Things change quickly on TikTok. Trends come and go very, very quickly. So you really need to keep your finger on the pulse of what the subcultures are doing, where your consumer is within TikTok. And you can think you're right on top of a trend and actually be late because it's already passed and it's already spread around and it's a little bit old news.
Hey gang, it's Thursday, February 3rd. Debbie and listeners, welcome to the Behind the Numbers Daily, an eMarketer podcast made possible by Mountain. I'm Marcus. Today I'm joined by our principal analyst who covers everything social media. It's Deborah Aho-Williamson.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Debbie. Thanks so much for hanging out. Today's fact / it's not a fact at all, it's a myth. So today's myth / nothing. Sugar causes hyperactivity in children. So I still don't believe this isn't true, but anyway, many parents will blame their children's rowdy behavior on an overabundance of sugar, but there's no actual evidence to support those claims. A definitive 1995 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that sugar in children's diets does not affect their behavior. I need to find some research now that proves this right, because Debbie, I can't wrap my head around this.
I think it just means we can have more sugar.
I know. So my first thought after reading this was, let's test it. And I was going to go borrow my niece and nephew, who are 6 and 3, and give them a bag of sugar and a teaspoon and say, go. My brother's lucky that I flew back to America already. Anyway, today's real topic, TikTok's next act. TikTok isn't silly. It's serious, writes The Economist. It is disrupting America's social media landscape. Well, that ship has sailed. The article points out that in just 5 years after its birth, TikTok claims it has exceeded 1 billion monthly users, despite a ban in India. And on January 12th, data company App Annie said TikTok caught up with Facebook last year and overtook WhatsApp and Instagram in time users spent on TikTok. TikTok could shake up the business model of social media in America, though, the article notes, not just the user experience. And Debbie, this article from The Economist about TikTok pointing to three things in particular, three ways in particular it could shake up the social media business model. One was focusing on viral content like the infamous ocean spray skateboarder instead of Google or Facebook's pay-per-click approach. Number two is TikTok's interest in social commerce, teaming up with Shopify to bring more merchants to the site. And number three, its focus on creators, introducing ways for users to provide gifts and tips to favored creators, boosting the incentive to produce fresh material. So this focus on viral content, their focus on social commerce, and their focus on creators. Debbie, which of these, in your opinion, is TikTok's most important initiative?
Well, I mean, I think the fact that we're even discussing these three huge areas and thinking about whether TikTok is and how big their impact is in these three areas is pretty incredible. I just want to say that right from the start. A couple of years ago, it was more of a question of who's going to use TikTok? You know, who wants to watch these kids dancing? You know, what is this thing called a hashtag challenge? Like, you know, what do marketers do on TikTok? Like, and then there was this whole question of, is TikTok going to be banned? Right. So the fact that this Economist article, of all places, is laying out these huge questions about the impact of TikTok just says already how big and important it's gotten, right? So I want to lay that right out there. But I do want to address your question a bit backwards, because I do think that TikTok has had an enormous effect on marketing with creators and the creator economy. That's not its biggest effect. I think it's because there's other challengers, social platforms that are doing equally big things with creators, such as Instagram. So I don't necessarily see TikTok standing on its own in that area. Same goes with social commerce. I think that TikTok has a lot going for it in social commerce, but it's not really to the point where you can look at it and say, they've got it and they're way ahead of X, Y, and Z platform. Instagram's doing amazing things with social commerce. You know, pretty much every social platform is doing amazing things in some way or another with social commerce right now, and nobody has won that race yet. So that leaves your last piece, which is viral marketing and how that relates to advertising, which I think was a really interesting point in this Economist piece. So the cool thing about TikTok, and I think what really has made it unique, is that it can pluck a user out of obscurity and turn them into a viral sensation, just simply by, the video landing, a certain way in the algorithm. Suddenly, a creator or person, even that isn't even trying to be a creator, becomes famous. This phrase called TikTok famous. TikTok has done this over and over again. And from there, though, it's really not necessarily that TikTok leans into creators with millions of people who are followers. It really leans more into people who have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people of followers. And it shows really the power of these influencers with, mid-size or even smaller followings to generate massive appeal. They could take something one user posted, share it with their friends. Next thing you know, it becomes viral. Mm-hmm. What does this have to do with advertising? Almost all of TikTok's advertising involves creators in some way or another. So they take this format of a video that somebody has created, and then they turn it on its side. An advertiser can come in and sponsor that creator. They can work with multitudes of creators. Sometimes that advertiser doesn't necessarily even have to be involved. They can see a product of theirs shown in someone's video, and next thing you know, it's sold out in stores. We saw examples of this. And American Eagle talks about if something trends on TikTok and it's an American Eagle thing, it sells out in stores. So that's where I think TikTok has really become unique, is in this ability to work with creators who maybe have a smaller to mid-sized following, maybe make them famous, but then use that army to take marketing into a whole new level. And that's where I think is the most exciting piece, and the advertising that comes along with it.
Yeah, it seems like it's taking a shift in thinking. And that recent Adweek piece by Jess Zafaris cites Alessandro Bogliari, co-founder and CEO of the Influencer Marketing Factory, saying when it comes to paid promotions in this instance, brands need to avoid being too sales-oriented with calls to action, saying we have seen many examples of products that sold out nationwide because of a funny or entertaining video that didn't necessarily have a buy now call to action. So Debbie, you mentioned that advertisers on the platform are doing things differently. They're finding, those viral pieces of content and attaching themselves to it. What would you say to marketers who are, now starting to take TikTok a little bit more serious in terms of how best they can get involved in this kind of new way of thinking about reaching this very unique audience?
Well, first of all, it is just to get involved. Not right. Every marketer is using TikTok yet. And I think increasingly the ones who aren't using it are going to be left behind. So, that's the most obvious point right there.
Quickly on that point, just for some numbers for that, Tiffany Sue of the New York Times saying half of major brands, including Nestle and Audi, have no TikTok presence, according to a recent review of 300 companies by research group WARC. So, to your point, by no means is everybody on there at all. And your first piece of advice is just get on the platform.
It's big enough and substantial enough and impactful enough, in all the areas that we just talked about, that I think marketers should be there in some way, shape, or form. So assuming you're already there, I think things change quickly on TikTok. Trends come and go very, very quickly. So you really need to keep your finger on the pulse of what the subcultures are doing, where your consumer is within TikTok. And you can think you're right on top of a trend and actually be late because it's already passed and it's already spread around and it's a little bit old news. So this really requires very quick action and someone who can really keep their finger on the pulse of what is trending in your community on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. That article referencing from Tiffany Sue saying that half of major brands not on TikTok at all, saying that some reasons are because the companies are citing the hangover from TikTok's tussle with the Trump administration in late 2020 over security and censorship concerns involving its owner, Chinese company ByteDance. So companies not sure whether they should invest heavily because will TikTok be around in a year's time? It is now, so it's time to get involved. Others saying that they worried that the Chinese government could start cracking down on the app, just as it recently imposed limits on video games. But they say some companies are still figuring out how to appear on TikTok. It was from Jordan Fox, head of the laundry service ad agency. Debbie, that article titled "TikTok Wants More Ad Dollars and It Has a New Plan to Get Them." What was your main takeaway from that piece?
That's an interesting one. So TikTok launched its advertising with a format that was called #challenges. So this was very unique format to TikTok and very successful. So a hashtag challenge essentially was advertiser, coming up with some sort of, dance move or trick or something like that you would invite then your community and the TikTok community at large to try to replicate. Super successful. But what TikTok has really leaned into now is something that really, to me, shows its maturity, which is automating its advertising. So enabling advertisers of all sizes to come in and, buy different types of advertising. So you don't have to create something very bespoke. You can create ads that look and feel like TikToks, but maybe are easier to execute and do this in an automated way. So that's been around for a couple of months. I think it's been super successful from what I've heard from the conversations I've had in the ad community. And to me, it really just shows, TikTok hasn't gotten there yet, but it's definitely adding the kinds of features that advertisers typically demand from an advertising platform in order to execute large-scale buys.
We're working currently updating our TikTok ad revenue numbers. Is that true?
Well, we are not only updating them, we are launching our inaugural TikTok ad revenue forecast, which hopefully will be out.
Oh, we didn't have ad revenue. We had users.
Users have been updated. The
Yes.
ad revenue forecast is the new piece. So I'm super excited about that. Our forecasters are hard at work right now, looking into all of the numbers for that. What I can tell you is that we do look at third-party sources, and there is one source, the Cowen and Company Investment Bank. So just to give you a taste of what they're saying, they're estimating that TikTok will amount to 1.4% of worldwide digital advertising in 2022. So that doesn't sound like a lot, right? I'll pause for a minute.
Yeah.
But then you look at the comparatives in the Cowen forecast, and that is ahead of Snap, ahead of Twitter, and ahead of Pinterest.
Wow. Huh. How does that number sit with you?
So, I'm going to leave it to our forecasters to figure out how it sits with our particular methodology. I will say it's definitely growing. And so one other tidbit that I found interesting from Cowen's estimates is that Cowen says that TikTok's share of worldwide digital advertising will double from 2021 to 2022.
Oh, wow.
So more than double, to be honest. I'm looking at the chart here from 0.6% to 1.4%.
Okay.
So it's growing. I mean, I think we can all agree that advertising is growing very rapidly on TikTok. They're building out the features that advertisers want, and they are still leaning very much into that unique factor that, it's not an ad, it's a TikTok, I think is their phrase.
Right. Those TikTok ad revenue numbers from our forecasting team, are they scheduled for this month or March?
They will probably be out sometime in the April timeframe. So I think they're just starting to work on those.
Oh, very nice. Okay, cool. All right, so stay tuned for those forecasts. TikTok ad revenue coming from our forecasting team. That's what we've got time for the lead. It's time now for the halftime report. Debbie, one takeaway, if you would, from the first half.
So my takeaway is right now, if you're not on TikTok as an advertiser or marketer, time to get on there. It's really challenging in so many different ways, and it's a fun and unique platform.
It's time. That's what we've got time for the lead. It's time now for In Other News. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Mountain. Mountain is taking everything you love about paid search and social advertising and bringing it to the TV screen. Mountain Performance TV is the world's first and only connected TV software platform that makes television advertising as easy as launching campaigns on paid search and social. Their self-serve platform makes it easy to choose your own audience, set your budget and goal, and see immediate results. Visit mountain.com to learn more. Right, folks, we are back today in other news. YouTube plans to invest in shorts, and LinkedIn is planning to launch audio events. Story 1, YouTube plans to invest in its short-form video format called Shorts, according to an open letter from CEO Susan Wojcicki. This follows some impressive viewership numbers, but insider intelligence analyst Nina Getson points out that despite TikTok still being banned in India, it's likely that a large chunk of Shorts viewership still comes from there. Shorts may not stack up in the US and other markets as a competitor to TikTok or Instagram Reels. With regards to potential changes to Shorts, Miss Wachowski writes that number one, they're looking to expand a remix feature that lets users create Shorts with audio from existing YouTube videos. Number two is testing how shopping can be integrated with Shorts. Debbie, over the next several months, Shorts will be blank to marketers.
Shorts will be interesting, but not super relevant. That's not one word.
Okay. Talk to us. How come?
So Shorts is YouTube's answer to TikTok. But really what Shorts demonstrates to me is just how threatened I think YouTube feels by the migration of creators to TikTok, the type of video that has become successful on TikTok, this short, entertaining, vertical video, very different from YouTube's roots and, longer form, horizontal video. So YouTube's playing a lot of catch up. It may very well be successful in India with Shorts, but I really find it hard to imagine a scenario where YouTube Shorts is a success for users and then by extension marketers in the United States. It just doesn't feel like it has that cachet that TikTok has developed in the US.
Yeah. India is a good market to go after, second largest population in the world, and digital video viewers in India will grow nearly 8% this year. Nina points out, highest rate of any market we forecast. But in terms of the average revenue per user in the US, it's obviously way higher than it is in the rest of the world. Debbie, one of our social trends predictions for this year, you said that Shorts was too narrow a name for its TikTok-esque feature, and it will either change the name or incorporate shorter length videos back into the main platform. Do you still see that as a sensible direction for YouTube?
I think so. I mean, as the same as TikTok is experimenting with the length of its own videos, I feel like Shorts is not the right name for whatever YouTube ends up doing with this product. It's probably too narrow of a definition.
Yep. Story 2. LinkedIn is planning to launch audio events, reported Kim Lyons of The Verge in mid-January. The new service is a live Clubhouse-like audio feature that LinkedIn will debut later this month in beta, or sometime soon at least, in beta as part of the company's new events platform, Miss Lyons notes. TechCrunch also noting that LinkedIn's all-virtual events platform will eventually include moderated panel-style discussions, roundtables, and fireside chats. The host can choose the formats, and users can chat, join speakers on stage, and connect after the event ends. A video flavor is expected to be available later this spring, and there are currently no plans to include ticketed events. Debbie, your reaction to LinkedIn launching its own audio event service is blank.
Late.
Yeah.
So, as many people know, LinkedIn is not the fastest mover when it comes to launching new features, new ad products. It's clearly been following the footsteps, like you mentioned, of Clubhouse and other companies that are doing audio. One nice thing is that when Clubhouse was much more popular about this time last year, it was very heavily used in the business community. And many people in the marketing, advertising community flocked to it to have discussions amongst themselves. I think there is a place on LinkedIn for that, but I just don't think it's going to be very large.
Okay, so too late in your opinion?
Late. I think it'll be a fine feature, but not huge.
Not revolutionary.
Just not revolutionary, not something that we're going to see like lots and lots of companies gravitating towards.
Okay. It's not like Apple late. Like when, you're late enough where you've seen what the market's doing and you come in with a better product. You're talking about Marcus Johnson late, where you show up an hour late, everyone's left already. That's all we've got time for this episode. Thank you so much, Debbie, for hanging out.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you to Victoria. She edits the show. And thanks to everyone listening in. We'll see you tomorrow for the Behind the Numbers Weekly Listen, the marketing podcast made possible by Mountain.